I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm finna hit y'all with that skinny. You ready? All right, here it is. Government was put in place to serve us. Not we serve the government, right? Government put in place to serve us. When it comes to our government is a functioning government. It works. It actually works, right? Here's the thing. Our government been hijacked a little over 100 years ago, okay? And you're probably wondering where I'm going with this. I'll tell you in a second. With this upcoming election, we down to the wire. We are down to the wire. When I say we are down to the wire, meaning if for whatever reason that female get into office, VP Harris, we can expect a socialist form of governing. Socialism, okay? Right now, we are a capitalistic style of government. That's what we have. Capitalism, right? Now think about this for a second, right? Imagine studying for weeks, preparing for an exam or a test, and you bust your behind studying, working as hard as you can so you can pass the test. Day test come, you ace the test. Imagine your professor or your teacher saying, you know what, since you did well, we're going to take a percentage of your grade, bring you to an 80, and we're going to give 20% of it to someone who wasn't as successful as yourself. But you're going to take 20% and give it to someone who wasn't as successful as yourself. Is that fair? Is that right? No, it's not. So think about capitalism, right? You get out here, you bust your behind, you build a business from the ground up, right? You get out here, you build your business from the ground up. It's blood, sweat, tears, right? And now that you're thriving, you've earned what you've put your work into. You've earned it. Only for someone to say, you know what, we're going to take a portion of your bread and we're going to give it to the less fortunate. Do that make sense? Would you want to do that? Are you that helping and are you that loving that you would want to take your hard earners and give it to someone who's less productive, less functioning? Well, when it comes to the less of the two evils, I got to say there's one that's less evil than the other. Now, I don't trust neither candidate. One of them would boldly lie in your face and let you know that I'm lying. But I'm going to tell you one thing. With all of these migrants being here, thousands and thousands of migrants, oh, they here to replace somebody. I mean, even with them expediting the whole process and getting them those voters registrations cards and food stamps, what have you, all type of assistance, living assistance, and get a roof over your head. They here to replace someone. But I'll tell you like this, all right, in a nutshell. If for whatever reason they win this election, meaning the Democratic Party, because you got to remember how the Democratic Party started. How and when did the Democratic Party start, and what did they stand for, and what were they about, right? Just do the basic homework. I'm not here to give you all of the answers. I'm not here to tell you that I have all of the answers. But one thing I will tell you, if for whatever reason these guys win this election, we're doomed. New World Order is here. It's because it's going to be a new world order. It's here. If for whatever reason she gets in that office, our fighting chance is out the window. Done. That fighting chance we thought we had is gone. I'll tell you why in a second. Those 4 founding fathers, when you look at what is that, Mount Rushmore? 4 founding fathers, huh? Where did they come from? Who were they running from? What were they getting away from? When they left, wherever they left, where did they come from, and why were they running, trying to get away from where they was? All right. Again, I'm not gonna give you all the answers. Y'all gonna have to do some work. All right. And I'm talking to a certain demographic because I know you guys don't understand what's going on. I'm saying that to say this beast, this monster that we are up against, Andrew Jackson done fought him off. Didn't kill him, but fought him off, right? Find out what Andrew Jackson, the same guy you see on that $20 bill, who did he fight? What did he stand for? I'm not saying he wasn't a racist. I'm not saying, hey, who did he stand up against and who did he fight off? All right? Look into that. The same very monster, same very beast came back. And so back to this government I'm telling you about. It's not that the government don't work. It's been hijacked. It's been hijacked. It's been hijacked. A little over 100 years. And so, the same beast, the same monster, has an agenda. And they're here. They're in the final stage. They're in the final stage. In the last 16 years, we done had 3 elections. Democrat done got 12 years out of the 16. Former President Barack Obama served 2 terms, which is 8 years. After he left, we got 4 years with the Republicans. We was thriving. Everyone seemed to be doing well. Only for Joe and VP Harris to get in there to put us back in that space. Right? 16 years, they got 12 out of the 16. Do the math. Look at how things were when Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, was in office, right? Look at how things were. And look at how things were when the Republicans were in. And then look how things are with Joe and Kamala. Kamala. Yeah. Look at how things are now, right? Look at the borders. We've always struggled with the borders, all right? We ain't gonna get into that though. Let's get to the meat of it, right? We're finna get to the meat of it. Here it comes. If they, meaning the lefties, the blue, the donkeys, got the right title, the donkeys, if they get in there, I'm gonna tell you right now, at this rate, those migrants coming over here, and they continue to come over here, we can hang it up. We can hang it up. You say, well, why you say that? Why you say that? To get these migrants over here, look at where they're placing them. Look at where they're placing them. Look at all of the places where they're sending them and placing them. Listen, in a nutshell, and I'm gonna wrap it up. If for whatever reason they get in office and they continue to bring these migrants in, thousands on top of thousands, if not millions, say goodbye to the Republican Party. See you bye. Now remember, we started off with the Republican Party. We started as the Republicans, most black folk. All right, it worked in our favor, right? Maybe some blacks forgot. And then, I know the majority of y'all, you don't know. When I say you don't know, meaning Republican Party represent the party of freedom and progress. Remember, and then this just me summing it up. Democratic, majority rule. Republican, 99% of the people can't take away the rights of that 1%. Majority rule versus taking away the rights of the 1%. So if we was the minority in this country and we was trying to integrate, and get better schooling for our children and for our future and get a better education, we was Republicans. Because remember, we're not the majority. The Democratic Party, look at what they stood for. Look at when they started. The Democratic Party came in when? In the 1800s? 1820s, if I recollect correctly, go behind me. But like I say, if for whatever reason the Democrats get another term, Yeah, the Republicans can hang it up. They can hang it up. Shoot, man, this country will be a one-party doggone state. A one-party state. Dang, Sight, what you mean by that? You'll be voting for the doggone Democratic primaries. Democratic primaries. Look at all these migrants they're bringing in. They're here to replace somebody. Right now, look at how many millions of dollars is going to war. And the people in North Carolina, the people in Florida, can really use that money. But look at the government like, no, we was put in power to service you guys and to serve you all. But remember, the government was hijacked. So now we want you to serve us. We don't want you to have no privacy. We want to know everything. We want to be able to think for you. Hello, New World Order. Hello, New World Order. These folks is on a mission. So a lot of you, it's not me telling you who to vote for, but I will say this. If you had to pick the lesser of the two evils, you better go to the Republican Party. The lesser of the two evils. Because I don't trust neither one. It's the same bird. Different wings. Same bird. I don't trust either one. So you're like, so, what's the point of all of this? Yeah, and I can't speak for whites and Asians and Mexicans and those other migrants. But hell, man, what we dealing with, my people, we have to focus on building and engaging in economic development. Economic independence by working together and getting back to what we originally used to and come from, governing ourselves. But with a nation as strong as the United States and the conditioning of the minds of the people here in America, we divided on so many levels. We so divided. Christian versus the Muslims, Blood versus the Crips, police versus the street guys, AKA versus the Deltas, this fraternity versus this fraternity, your football team versus mine, your neighborhood, your project across the street. We stay in the same city, but your project's across the street from mine versus, like, we divided. And so we have to come to the realization and say, you know what? If we're going to help ourselves, it's going to take us to help ourselves. And who we looking to save us is us. We can't wait for no one to come from their communities. We can't wait for no Democratic Party, no Republican Party. We haven't got reparations yet. Everyone been compensated except us. And, when it came down to the Holocaust and the mistreatment of blacks and, the trauma, the post-traumatic stress, all of that has been passed down in the DNA, and again, it's not to make no excuses, but, life ain't fair, and the race that we're running is definitely not a fair race. It's not a fair race. So a lot of times people don't even want to talk about what we've experienced. Everybody want to sweep it up under the rug like it didn't happen and say, hey, have at it. Now, again, if you know from whence you came, use your smarts, use your power to the best of your ability, and let it reflect that you are king and that you do come from greatness, and then bounce back. But for the ones who's been wounded like badly, they not recovering, so they left to wreak havoc amongst us. And this is what we deal with in our so-called communities. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to the point. The Republican Party cannot afford to take a hit. They're gonna usher in this new world order, and like I say, it's not that the government don't work. The government been hijacked. It's been hijacked. Right now, there's no doubt in my mind, VP Harris has an agenda, and basically serve as the face, and what better person to use than a woman? Like, she didn't win the primary, but hey, if we can get Joe to step down and put her up there, then we got a better shot, because now she could, gauge the women, the alphabet community, and again, until we can get in as many migrants as we can, because once we do, I mean, California been a blue state like forever, New York, and so New York, California, Chicago, they turning red, so you can put them down as one of the swing states. But yeah, they bring in enough migrants, then of course they're gonna side with them. It's no different from when the Democratic Party did the best thing they could ever do for black folks is pass that civil rights bill. But then, like I say, it wasn't specific. So therefore, the alphabet community, they benefited from it far more than we did. Let me tell it. Who else? The feminist movement benefited from it far more than we did. You know what I mean? But that was the best thing that ever happened for us, with the Democratic Party. But a lot of people conditioned and trained to stay on the plantation, that you're not going to get any better than this, and then this all they've been doing for their whole entire lives. It's just like being born into like a Christian religion. That's all you know, so that's all you trust, because that's all you know. So a lot of people are comfortable that my grandma did it, my mom did it, my great grandma did it, so I must do it, and don't have the courage to challenge their belief system. And so therefore, it's no different from the that analogy, tie a rope on an elephant. He try to get away for so long to the point you break his spirit. So when you take the rope off, he never attempts to leave because he think he can't get away. So that's most black folks, being stuck on that Democratic plantation. So like I say, we gotta fight. We got a fight ahead of us. But at the end of the day, like I say, he who has an ear, let him hear. He who has eyes, let him see. What's coming to pass and what's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm not convinced the Most High God that I believe in. I'm not convinced that the Spirit of God is Democrat nor Republican. You know what I mean? But in the case of damn if you do, damn if you don't, the lesser of the two evils. But guys, it was fun chatting with y'all. You know what I mean? Regardless of the outcome, it's going to be backlash. Regardless of who wins, it's going to be backlash. But one thing I will say, many of us have to come out of our comfort zone. A lot of us are content and complacent. So regardless of who wins, some got to give. Because sitting here, being distracted and not doing nothing about our situation, we come out better going back prior to the civil rights bill that was passed. At least we patronized and supported one another because we was all we had. And it's still that way, but we've gotten away from it. We reap the benefits of the privileged whites, the way we live. We're spoiled. We're entitled. Especially here in Atlanta. Oh, Black Hollywood. Like, man, we walking around. You can't tell us we don't own this place. We got high positions, got fancy titles. And, again, it's like, oh, life is good. But at the end of the day, this beast is still out here, taking countries out of their sovereign capacities. And that's what it's always been about. Look, let's take them out of their sovereign capacity and get down to one world government so we can just sit back and run the whole entire thing. You got Democrats, they knowing. And like I say, they knowing, like right now, like look how, we just become so desensitized, man. Just on so many levels. Right now, many of our family members are, a lot of us, not all, but a lot of our family members are part of the alphabet community, right? I'm not, and it's not no hate message. They're part of the alphabet community. It became the norm. Right now, the way celebrities and entertainers, the way that they represent these symbols, man, they do the all-seeing, they do the pyramid over the eye. They, represent Lucifer in their music videos. They rap about it. They talk about it. And it's like, it's a normal thing now. So we have become desensitized to a lot of this stuff. It's like the norm. It was a point in time, it's like our senses go off. They say, hey, what do you represent? What are you doing? And so it's become the norm. So when you go to talking about open borders and migrants coming over and getting in on our resources and benefits, that's becoming a normal thing. Alphabet community, normal thing. Devil worshiping and evil, normal thing. Death in our communities, people getting shot, stabbed, killed, normal thing. It happens so often. The police killings, normal thing. Blacks and whites, And so we out of touch, man. Something has to happen. Something got to give.